Hey everyone, my name's Shelby and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the life-changing magic of tidying up by Marie Kondo. I actually took this out as a library book not too long ago and I'm making this video now because I need to return it. The life-changing magic of tidying up is written by a woman named Marie Kondo. Marie Kondo is a 38-year-old woman from Japan. She's written 4 books, the most famous of which is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It's so interesting to listen to interviews and stuff about Marie Kondo. She talks a lot about how her interest in tidying and organizing and initially storage, but then decluttering began in early childhood. She actually talks a lot about, watching her mother, who was a homemaker, take great pride and joy in maintaining the family house. And she attributes a lot of her own desire to maintain a nice house to seeing her mother doing it well and enjoying it. Marie Kondo has had 2 series on Netflix, one of which was called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo and the other was called Sparking Joy. Very neat, good for her, breaking into the Canadian, American, English side of this kind of content. Marie Kondo has been so successful that her name has essentially become a verb. I know that I was recently joking at my office that I'm Marie Kondoing the office, going through the storage rooms and stuff, likely inspired by reading this book. She has been named one of Time Magazine's most influential people, and she has sold millions and millions of copies. She has her own consulting company in Japan for organizing, decluttering, storage solutions, that kind of thing. The method that she uses is called the KonMari method. Obviously, it's her name, Marie Kondo, KonMari, right? Her organizing method is pretty dissimilar to a lot of the ways that I think Western mainstream society has taught people how to clean, do a little bit every day, just pluck away at it, fancy storage solutions. You can fit everything that you have as long as you get, clear containers and more shelving and taking advantage of vertical space and that kind of thing, a la, the home edit, right? Going into these mansions where they have so many clothes that they've never even worn or maybe even never looked at, and then organizing it in a very aesthetically pleasing way. So it's kind of the almost, I don't want to say antithesis of that because it's not. It's kitty corner and adjacent to that, but definitely down a different street. There are 6 different rules for using the KonMari method to declutter your house, okay? So number 1, commit. Marie Kondo talks about don't clean in little pieces throughout the day. Tidying should be an event. It should be a special occasion. It should almost be a party, right? You are focused. You are doing the work that you are setting out to do, okay? So she talks about get it all done in a weekend or something like that. Her definition of tidying is a little different, I think, than a lot of people's, because when we think of tidying, we think of putting things back in their same place or in the correct place that they're supposed to go. Marie Kondo talks about how tidying is actually not just putting things back where they belong, but tidying is making it so that your home is easy to put things back where they belong. Doing those day-to-day, like loading and unloading the dishwasher, that's a given. This is a more fundamental, making your home able to accommodate those everyday tasks that have to happen. So her first rule of commit is committing to doing it, committing to getting rid of things, getting garbage bags, knowing where your drop-offs are, knowing, which thrift stores you want to drop things off on, that kind of thing. Number 2, imagine the ideal life that you want to live. She talks a lot about how, I actually wrote this in my journal because I thought it was so profound. She talks about how the question of what you want to own is actually the question of how you want to live your life. And so imagining how you want to live your ideal life will help guide your spirit and guide your soul as you declutter and thank things for coming into your life and then thank them for leaving your life. She also talks about a dramatic reorganization of the home causes correspondingly dramatic changes in lifestyle and perspective. That reminds me of Gretchen Rubin talks about, I think we've all heard stories of people who, cleaned out their fridge and then felt capable to take on a master's program all of a sudden, or they finally painted their walls and then, they quit their job and got a different one or whatever, right? We know that taking control of our physical space offers us the self-efficacy to make changes that we want to see in our lives. So by imagining the ideal life that you want to live, it's going to help your spirit know which things to keep in that life and which things to get rid of. By imagining the ideal life that you want to live, you're going to have a guiding star of how to discard your items and which to keep. Okay, number 3, discard first. So she talks about how there's 2 different aspects to tidying, okay? There's putting things away and there's discarding. And she talks about how discarding always has to come first, because then whatever you're left with is what gets organized, right? You don't want to be organizing things you're going to get rid of, because then you're going to wind up keeping it, right? Like, you don't want to be keeping Kit Kat wrappers. You get rid of them first and then you put away the spoons. Number 4, tidy by category. This is a thing that is very different. I think most advice out there for cleaning your house focuses on, looking at each room or each space and going through that one by one. What she argues is gathering like things together so that you can see exactly how many of that thing you have, and then going through it category by category. Do you genuinely need 12 hairbrushes? But if you have, 1 hairbrush in the guest bath, 1 in the master bath, 4 in the kitchen, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have a good assessment of where all these things are if you're going through it room by room, versus gathering up all the hairbrushes, getting rid of the bad ones, and keeping the ones that spark joy to you. So number 5 is to follow the order above, okay? And so this is the order. Start with clothes, then move on to books, papers, kimono, which is miscellany, and then finally things with sentimental value. If you reduce what you own in this order, your work will proceed with surprising ease. She also talks about how while doing, say, clothes, you're supposed to be comparing like things. So go through the tops, go through the sweaters, go through the pants, go through the socks, go through the underwear. Do all things in like fashion. That way you are comparing like things. Number 6 is ask, does this spark joy? So when you are going through every item in your house, because you are going to touch every item in your house, you are going to pick it up. You're going to pick it up with your hands. You're going to look at it and you're going to determine if this sparks joy to you. Now that can mean a lot of different things. Is it something that is really useful and you use a lot? Is it something that you just adore for the sake of adoring it because it's so beautiful? Is it, a gift that has such sentimental value that you couldn't possibly dream of being without it? It's about, what does sparking joy mean to you? And it's a very loose definition, but I think that's the beauty of it, because it's actually following your own heart and following your own guiding star on what is important to you in your life, using that, mindset that we created earlier on the ideal life that you want to live, right? What she says about sparking joy is this: take each item in one's hand and ask, does this spark joy? If it does, keep it. If not, dispose of it. She also talks about actually thanking your objects and thanking your house and honoring your objects when you encounter them. So let's say I was going to get rid of this journal, which I'm not because I'm just starting and it really does spark joy. I would pick it up, I would look at it, and if it did not spark joy and I decided that I need to get rid of it, I would actually thank it for its service, right? So thanking it for whatever it has taught me. Maybe I learned that I didn't like this journal because the paper was too thin, or it taught me that the color wasn't what I liked, or it taught me that I don't like journaling, right? Thanking a shirt that you're going to get rid of, that I don't look good in these kinds of shirts, and thank you for teaching me that. So that's kind of the nuts and the bolts of the KonMari method. It reads very philosophical despite being so tactical and tangible about how to declutter your house. It feels like a testament to taking on, I would say, like responsible ownership of things, or, conscious materialism. One of my favorite YouTubers, Kristen, not recently, it was a while ago, did a video on, materialism that I really, really enjoyed. So in Kristen Leo's video, she says something that I just want to read right here. The materialist values their possessions, collects or creates, and thoughtfully takes care and uses them often. Consumerists shop to get a temporary fix. They are influenced by external factors like advertising or peer pressure. They discard their possessions easily and rarely consume with the intention to actually use. So I think that's speaks to a lot of what like Marie Kondo says is she's against both just like letting things go indiscriminately and just letting things pile up. I don't think that the KonMari method requires you to be a minimalist, but in a lot of ways it's aligned with minimalism. It's definitely aligned with the thought that, you know, having everything that you need and not having a lot of excess that you need to pick up and put away and store and stuff like that is very in line with, you know, minimalist thoughts. I'm not really a minimalist, but like I like to push towards that as much as I can because I'm definitely not a maximalist either. I'm somewhere in the middle. And if you type in like on YouTube here, videos of people doing the KonMari method, like they're so emotional. It's so beautiful to see some of the attachments that we have to some of our possessions, some very real and profound attachments, things that have gotten us through hard times, things that have served us in some beautiful way. Tom Hanks and Wilson, and like the attachment that a person can have with an inanimate object and how we humanize the things that we own, right? And how like little pieces of other people can be in our objects. I have some of my grandma's jewelry that, you know, it really sparks joy to look at those pieces and to think of her. And then there's other things that just spark joy on their own, right? Things that we just genuinely love and get a lot of value at. And so I think this is another testament to finding your own center, finding your own values, and then surrounding your physical world with the things that are a reflection of your internal world as much as you can. I mean, will toenail clippers ever spark joy? I mean, like sometimes maybe, like you don't want to get ingrown toenails, so that's important, right? All right, everyone, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you've made it to the end of the video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you let me know if you enjoy this kind of content. Yeah, until next time. Okay, thanks, bye.